Good morning. I just can't wait anymore for 4:44 to get here. I've been awake over an hour already and up most of that time. Great meditation this morning. Great meditation. I encourage each of you that is able to do that to start your day with meditation. Center yourself and just listen and observe. Don't try to shut your mind up or any of that stuff. Just observe and pay attention to what's going on with you, what's going on in your body, what's going on in your mind, what energies are you feeling. It's interesting, and again, I encourage you to do that whenever you can, as often as you can, although don't spend your whole time meditating, because then you'd never get anything done. Anyway, I'm going to talk to you today about no more playing victim. And I'll be honest with you, this is about the third or fourth thing this morning that's come across my mind as what I could talk about as I do this video. But this is the one that seemed to feel best with me and resonate most. And I was directed back to the thought for the week that I put out on my Metagroup's community calendar. I do 2 emails a week, one on Monday and one on Friday every week, and I try to put a thought for the week in. On Mondays and on Fridays I put a thought for the weekend. And this was my thought for the week yesterday, March 14th. And I wrote to those that subscribe, when we think we are required by some law to get permission from some supposed authority to do something that is lawful in its own right, the authority is operating unlawfully. In fact, treasonous in many cases. Also, we have given our power away and allowed a tyranny of deception to steal our natural, God-given rights as human beings. And do we believe we are free? We do not need government approval to live freely and peacefully, unless we still see ourselves as children needing parental approval. Isn't it time that the children of God grew up and became adults? Spiritual maturity requires that we each take full responsibility for our own lives. No more playing victim. For those of you that haven't had the opportunity to watch the talk that I gave at the New Way last May 30th, 2010, it's not on YouTube. It is on Facebook, on my Facebook account. I've asked the person who filmed that talk to provide me with the actual video so that I can upload it onto YouTube. It's on his YouTube channel, not mine. In any case, standing in your power has everything to do with not playing victim. Most of the human race, most of us, and I say all of us, at some point in our lives see ourselves as a victim. Life is something that happens to us, over which we have no control. And to a large extent, that's absolutely true. Many things that happen in our lives we don't seem to have any control at all, at least not from the conscious level. So this idea of not playing victim to the mind can seem ridiculous, because of course we're victims. Things happen to us and there's nothing we can do about it. We are born, we live, we go through a series of experiences, ups and downs, and then we die. And where did we have any choice in that matter? What do you mean stop playing victim, Ron? I mean, how can you tell me that? Give me a break, please. This is the kind of talk that my mind gives to me. Maybe your mind doesn't do that. But mine does. Mine has. And it's okay. That's what the mind does. That's what the ego does. It wants to make you safe. And it wants to give you reasons and logic to support the fact that you're a victim. But it's not a fact. It's not a fact. It's a perception. It's just how you perceive and define your own experience of life. When I began to see who I was, and I began to accept the principle that life was something that flowed from me, not something that happened to me. When I began to see things that way, and that I was powerful, and that I had given my power away, when I began to see those things, when I began to understand the difference between love and fear, it changed my life. Do I still have bad days? Yeah, yesterday was a bad day. I didn't even watch yesterday's video. I didn't even watch it. It's the first time I've made a video that I've not even watched myself. A few hundred people watched it, but I didn't. Why? Because I felt bad yesterday. I was tired. I was drained. I was under a dark cloud most of the day. Still, did I let that dark cloud get me down? Was I a victim of the dark cloud? No. I made a choice. There were commitments that I had made to myself to serve. And I served the community by updating my website, by putting out my weekend events page, by doing the newsletter for the spiritual community that I'm very, very much a part of, the New Way, the POD, the People of Diversity group. I did that yesterday. I did what needed to be done. I wasn't about to play victim. I wasn't about to let that dark cloud, that dark energy get me down. Did I feel down? Yeah, I still felt down. And I didn't fight it. I just simply observed it and went on with what I had to do, accepting it and loving it. And that's the difference between love and fear. We don't get this, a lot of us. Light workers so often have the perception that they have to put out the dark. Like dark has an existence of its own. I mean, give me a break. It's simply the absence of light. And when we don't focus, when we make a choice, a conscious choice, well, I'm not going to focus on the dark stuff. I don't want to look at that. What are we doing? We're letting the dark stay unloved. We're letting the dark live without compassion, the compassion of those of us who are able to see. And what happens? Now there's this New Age belief. What you focus on expands. Yeah, that's true a lot of times. If you focus on how sick you are and how much of a victim you are, your sickness and your victimhood, the chances are pretty good it's going to expand. But what about if it's a conspiracy of ignorance? If you don't focus on it, it's going to expand. If you don't focus on it, it's going to expand, whether you like it or not. Because you're not giving it what it needs. It needs your focus. What is focus? It is shining a light on something. It is seeing something as it is. It's really simple. It's just turning on the lights that have been shut off. The thought for the week is about government and about how we've given away our power to authority figures that are outside of us, that want us to get permission to do things that are lawful to do, like get married and be born. I mean, my God. I mean, we need to have a certificate from the state. Well, of course, there's a reason why they do that, which I'm not going to go into today. But we've given our power away. And why? Because we're afraid. Because we're playing victim. When we're in fear, we're going to see ourselves as victims. And we're going to see life as a battle between what we like and what we don't like. What we love and what we don't love. We're going to see life as a battle between those opposites. And when we see that, the universe will give us more of it. What you focus on expands. Sometimes it is true. But when we focus on what's hurting and see it as a cry for love, oh, but then it changes everything. Because then we've given ourselves the ability, which we always had, but now we know we have it, to choose love. And why is love different than fear? Fear, as I've said before, is exclusive. It wants to exclude everything it doesn't like, everything that it doesn't understand, everything that it's not comfortable with. It wants to exclude people that are pain in the butts in our lives. And sometimes we have to draw safe boundaries. I don't think anybody should stay and be abused by a government, by a church, by a partner that is abusive. I don't believe we should have to do that. But we should exhaust all possibilities of loving before we are quick to run away from it. That's my perception. But again, fear is exclusive. It wants to exclude. Now, you've heard it said that love and fear are opposites. Okay, let's pretend that that's the truth, and it can be a truth. It's okay. How is love opposite from fear? If love wants to exclude fear, it's the same energy. It's love masquerading as fear when what you're saying, well, I love the whole world, and I want to eliminate all the evil, all the darkness, all the things that I don't like. I want to create a utopia by elimination. Dream on. That's wishful thinking. But it's the same energy as fear. You're saying, I love, I love, I love. We want a day of love. 11-11-11. Lots of activities going on around the world on that day. We're going to be a new energy on 11-11-11. But we're no different than being victims when we're trying to eliminate something, because that's what fear does. That's what the ego mind that doesn't see itself connected to the higher self and higher wisdom, that's the way it behaves. That's the way it thinks. That's the way it is with the ego and with fear. It's all fear-driven. That's how our world has been created. The mess we're in is because we lived there. The only enemy we have is ignorance. So let's turn on the lights and become enlightened. How do we do that? We move into love. Why is love different than fear? Because love is inclusive. It embraces everything, even the fear, even the dark, even the evil. It just simply focuses on what it doesn't like, but from a different point of view. From the point of view of, I created this. I'm responsible for it. Ho'oponopono. We recognize it. We own it. We take responsibility for it. We give it love. And it transforms even the criminally insane. Maybe we could do that with our government. Are not politicians and lawyers and bankers criminally insane? It appears so to me. Should I attack them because of that? Should I hate them? No. If I'm not going to be a victim anymore, I'm going to make a new choice. I'm going to see that I'm not separate, and I'm going to choose to love. I'm choosing to be compassionate to what I don't understand, and people, even people that hurt me and criticize me. I choose to be compassionate. A new choice. I move in love and not fear, and in so doing, I give up my victimhood. I'm going to leave you with that today. Namaste, and God bless you, and thank you for listening. Yes.